So it used to be the cat's meow used to be the baddest person on the block if your parents had a Sears credit card. Anybody remember that? So now it's the black card. Oh, you got a black card? Or you got this, you know, but yeah. Yeah, right. But look on the left-hand side. Sears credit cards back then were charging people 21% interest. What did the Rule 72 say? If I divide 24 into 72, that means their profit from that credit card is doubling every 3 years. Conversely, that means your debt, if you're paying a minimum, is doubling every 3 years. Now, I don't want to just pick on them. Let's pick out this French company, okay? Anybody ever heard of this little French company called Jacques Payet? Or not JCP.com, right? So we lowered monthly payments by 75%. That means on a regular charge of $500, your first payment used to be $60, Cassandra. But now, under the new low rate of 3%, you would only pay $15 on your first monthly scheduled payment. Now, ladies, let's read this bottom line all together. Can we all read this line together? Y'all ready? Now, everybody, now,
you can buy what you want today.
Now, did you see anything say you can buy what you need today?
No.
What you want today. See, they are the masters in the Rule of 72. They actually take surveys, do algorithms, scientific, numbers, calculations on how people habits are buying them. Anybody ever went to a grocery store? Where is the milk, the eggs, the butter, and the bacon at? In the front or the back of the grocery store? What's at the front at the cash register? Candy, magazines, because you're going to be in line, all impulse buy stuff. Because if the most important stuff was right at the front, you wouldn't spend hardly any time or only very little money in a grocery store. That's all scientifically engineered. Okay? So let's get back to the book real quick and let's wrap this up. Let's talk about controlling your debt. Okay? Let's look here. Up on the screen there, we're going to talk about controlling your debt. Corporations want to get me into debt and keep me there. What do you ladies think? This is back to your book. You can look up there, but look back to your book. Corporations want to keep you in debt for how long? Forever. The answer is forever. Everybody want to fill that in. Corporations want to get me into debt and keep me there forever. Why? Because they make $700 million a year on consumers. Learn to control the urge to charge and spend. Learn to control the urge to charge and spend. Cancel all store accounts and credit cards. Their rates are higher. So Target, HEB, Sears offer you a store credit card. If you got to have a credit card, get a MasterCard, Visa, Discover card. Their rates are lower. The credit card is not owned by Sears and them. It is being bankrolled by Visa, MasterCard, Discover card. Okay? So they have to charge a little bit more to make their juice. All right? So they're going to give you some free stuff that ain't anything to them to track you on the program. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move right ahead. Perform plastic surgery on all but one emergency credit card. Because you do need to have a credit card in today's world. Perform plastic surgery on all but one credit card and use a debit card if you have the cash. Because they have more systems on debit card. And with the security encryption nowadays, it's no different than a credit card. It used to be 10 years ago, people could get into your bank account and then they get your money, you couldn't get it back. It works just the same as a credit card nowadays. Okay? All right? So, shut down all credit card offers by calling the opt-out number in the book. And you have to do it with your cell phones now too. You know that. Okay? There's an opt-out number that you can call, which is that, and an opt-out website. Then all you got to do, boom, it blocks out for 3 years. If someone calls you from the same number, that's an actual crime. If you ask a telemarketer not to solicit you, and they solicit you again, that same one, that's a $15,000 to $25,000 fine per corporation. There recently was something that happened about 6 months ago. Yeah, know your consumer laws, okay? All right, here, my debt freedom date is this. Here's what's important. This illustration here will tell you, when we do your financial plan, we pull all your debt together, we will be able to tell you exactly when you'll be out of consumer debt. So if you don't know what your consumer freedom day is now, you need to get the plan, and I'll be able to tell you exactly within 99.5% when you'll be out of debt. If you give us all the facts, like going to the doctor. If you go into the doctor and tell them your pinky is hurt, but really it's your thumb, and they only give you information for the finger and then the thumb falls off, I gave you 95%. instructions and counseling based on what you gave me. So if you counsel the information to me incorrectly, I'm going to counsel it back to you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody by show of hands need a debt freedom day?
Well, I do.
I was completely consumer debt free in 2002.
Sorry, I do want the plan.
Yep.
I have
Okay.
to go. Do I leave it here?
All right. No problem, man. I'll follow with you when I leave out. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yep. We got about 5 minutes. I know we're a little bit over. So let me get this done real quickly. And if anybody else got to go, you can just go. I'll be here for another 30 minutes. All right. So let's talk about debt consolidation and acceleration right here. This is what this illustrates. So what this is only going to do is take all your consumer debt, any type of corporate debt, any type of home mortgage debt, and it's going to all put it together. Okay. And what the typical response is, I want to get out of debt. What do people normally do when they make up their mind and they put a plan together to start paying off debt? What debt do you think they go after? They go after the big debt or the little debt? The big debt. Absolutely. But guess what happens to you psychologically and confidence-wise if you can't keep applying that payment to that big debt because you had life happen?
You give up.
You give up. So we do just the opposite.
You
We
go
get
with
you
the small.
exactly. We give you little victories. So if you got a debt as small as $100, we pay that off first. We celebrate. You know what we do? We pay off that debt, then we go have lunch. We feel good about ourselves. Go to happy hour or something like that. Now we go to the next debt. So if you see on our illustration here, we take the smaller debt, and when we paid it off the very next month, that payment that was going to that, we roll it down to the next one. Keep rolling and keep rolling. And this is the way you get out of debt systematically in very little bit of time. 5 years go by just like that. I got rid of my $40,000.
I think a lot of people pay off the small debts and then think this is extra money instead of investing in it.
Right, exactly. Because they don't have a team to counsel them. So guess what happens? You touch bases with us once a month for 30 minutes when I talked about the membership and the first time it came out. And I just say, hey, guess what? We just knocked down 3 debts, you eliminate $1,500. That was about $150 a month paid that you were making. Go have lunch, go take somebody out, go party a little bit for that month. Next month, we're going to apply that automatically drawn out of your account to this, this, and this, and this to your priorities. And then 90 days later, I'm going to get you another plan and you're going to see the impact of that. Make sense?
Yeah.
Paid off my 40 to 50 grand in 36 months. Of course, I was single at the time. I had good income, but I just redirected my abusive habits. Skiing all over the country and driving more expensive cars than I needed. And I said, wait a minute. Hey, if you got the money, enjoy life. My course is not about you becoming, unhappy to be successfully debt free. My course is about do it in moderation, enjoy everything in moderation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you earned $1 million and you got another $1 million put aside and you can afford to blow it and have a great time, you can't take it with you. Agree? Right. And I'm not going to give it to my kids to blow either. Make sense? All right. So let's move right along and we'll wrap this up. Okay, so consolidate high interest consumer debt into a home equity loan, which may be tax deductible. So a lot of times when you look at refinancing vehicles and you have consumer debt or stuff like that, and the interest rate is 3%, but your credit card is 18% and I got 30 grand on it, and my house got supreme equity in it, and the numbers add up on paper, like doing business, then I'm gonna move that debt down to 3%. Save that 18%, and then get a tax write-off. Because that's what businesses do. They do that all the time. But nobody told us that. You got people out there got MBAs, PhDs, that they did a special in 60 Minutes about 6 years ago. They had $400,000 worth of consumer debt. But they had a PhD, they had an MBA, but they weren't focused on their own personal finances. So it applies to everybody. Okay, so let's move right along. So when you continue to make the same total payment at a lower rate, it will accelerate your debt freedom. That's really what we're talking about right here. Debt acceleration, okay? Accelerate your debt freedom date by applying the same payment each month to a decreasing number of accounts. So I knock off JCPenney, Shell, Sears, Visa, MasterCard. Now I start hitting the big ones. Now you start seeing that income, because your income didn't go down. Your debt went down. Now you got a little bit more extra over here. Now you feel a little less stressed. If you love the job you're doing, now you're really coming in doing it because you want to do it. Now you have options. And that's really what you should have in life, are options, okay? So let's talk about credit report, all right? Your credit score may determine the interest rate that you pay on loans.
Yep.
All right. It also determines if somebody's going to hire you nowadays.
Really?
Yes. They look at your credit.
For hiring?
Absolutely. It's a sign of character. Yeah. In the financial world,
So I keep
you
track of my shit
can't
on
you
my app.
yeah you
Well,
can't
yeah, but.
yeah, but you can't. But think about it. Everybody goes through a hard time. That's life. Everybody. But if you have a consistent pattern of paying a bill that's only $50 and you're paying it late, what does that tell me about you?
That's true.
Even though you make $100,000, but I keep seeing, oh, she don't pay that $100 bill, but she makes $100,000. She don't really care about taking money from people.
She got her nails done, and you said, well, we got $50.
Or conversely, I can see your credit report. Every young person goes through some credit challenge if they haven't been taught at an early age. Okay, started out in college, had a little stumble, their credit score went down, but all of a sudden it consistently went up. Okay, that's a person who learned, and now that person is showing, responsibility, accountability. That's all it is. If people get divorced, people understand, okay, when you get divorced, a lot of times it's ugly. Credit gets affected, homes get sold, families get broken apart. So they know there's a time of healing.
Mhm.
So an employer, a creditor, they'll look at that. But if you have no excuse and your credit is bad and it's consistently bad, then that's really a reflection of your character or your lack of responsibility about when people loan you money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So again, even though Santiago was a member, he wouldn't be joining my business team if he wasn't credit worthy and showed character.
Mhm.
That's important because I couldn't have him helping you if he didn't reflect us properly. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
All right. So maintain a credit score of 680. Maintain a credit score of 680. Now they'll tell you good credit is like 640. That's just getting in the door. When they really start looking at you, 680 is tipping the iceberg, but 720
Just reading.
is good credit. Excellent credit is 800. Okay? If you're not there, don't worry about it. It took me 36 months to get to 800. It took me 12 to get to 680. But all it is just as your debt comes down, you consolidate certain things, you pay things on time, you keep certain credit lines open. So a lot of times when people realize, hey, I'm going to pay this off, the next actual reaction is, I'm closing the account. That's actually a payment against you. You leave it open for a period of time, let the other account build up, and then it basically balances it out, then it just fades away.
So what do you recommend for people that say you don't have enough credit?
Then you establish credit. We show you how to establish credit. You can do that by going into the bank, getting a secure card based on your loan to your savings account, start making a payment to it, and what you can do in 60 days, put $500 in your savings account, take out $200 the next month, pay it right back, boom, 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 12 months later. Exactly. And now it's reported on your legitimate credit line. Okay? All right? So, myfico.com is the place to go, and this is the last spot, so we're going to pull off the financial report, and we're done. Okay? So,
Do we need to have anything under here at all?
oh, did I not give you that? Oh, yeah. Use compound interest as your benefit. Oh, homework assignment. Go home and ask yourself how much compound interest is working against you, all your debt. Put that in, a ballpark number, and ask yourself how much of your investments are yielding a return. Okay? That was a great question. Great question. Okay, so again, go home, Jamie, look at, if you don't have any credit card debt or anything, put 0. But then look at your 401k, look at your Roth, look at your money market account, look at the interest rate. If you got a CD, add them all up and say, hey, here's my compounded interest working for me. How long is that going to double? Okay? And if you don't have a congregate aggregate of 12% total, then you need some help. 6% is where you want to be to get the money doubling in 6 to 8 years. 12%, it'll get you on that aggressive 500 to 1.5 million. Okay? All right? So again, let's pull out the sheet and this wraps us up. So on the left-hand side is household needs, and we're just going to go over this right here. So if anything made sense in terms of planning, you would check off number 1, check my financial goals by developing a written plan. That's already paid for. Okay? Number 3, review your implementation of a plan to become a consumer debt-free. Number two, if you have children, we'll talk about this in the second part of the class. Review your college plan and determine what your family costs would to put your children through college. That's what we're going through right now with my 14-year-old being a junior in high school. We're getting that all out of the way right now, okay? Number 8, determine your financial debt freedom plan. That is imperative, okay? All right? And then number 11, explore the advantages of a debt consolidation loan. Now, the corresponding consultation on the right-hand side will be, you know what, hey, DJ, the money coach, I need the financial plan, my company paid for it. Check, okay?
Which is what, A?
Yep, that's letter A. And then it would just be E, the debt freedom plan. This first session, those are the 2 most important ones that you should be looking at. So all you want to do now, check off whichever box apply, check off whichever consultation. If you don't want either, no big deal. It's paid for either way. And it's available for you for the next 12 months, okay? This class covers you for the next 12 months. You can come back 3 more times, and your family members can come back 3 more times as long as they legally live in your house and they are married or they are a dependent to you. So all you have to do here is, if you checked everything off, put down a couple of dates and times that would make and say, hey, I want to do either Skype, Zoom, come to your office, or sit down with you. And make sure you have your email on there. And I will email you what a budget sheet looks like. I'll email it to you within 24 to 48 hours, and then I'll set up time slots. And generally, I like to do like Sunday nights because it's usually easier for people to do Zoom and Skype. Generally, Thursday nights and Sunday nights right now work good for me personally because of baseball. But if it doesn't work that day, I'll make sure that somebody on our team, Melvin will be back here. You guys met Melvin, right? The big 6-foot guy. He's coming here next week with us.
Yeah, how do you get to meet him?
Yeah, Melvin's going to be back here next Tuesday and Wednesday for the open enrollment. So he'll be here for 2 days back from Chicago. Santiago will be with us as well. So we have a variety of 4 or 5 people that can help, you guys concurrently, other than myself personally. And Santiago is based right here as well. And if somebody needs to, do it in Spanish, Santiago will be able to help out as well. Any questions or anything like that? Hopefully the class part 1 of it was informative, and I hope it was a little bit of entertaining as well. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be, and I'm going to give you the answer to that as well. So I'm going to email all of you the actual modules, the complete automated modules that Gloria got first when we first met, and it'll be a narrative that'll go through each one of them to fill out the rest of the book. So if you either want to come back to the second or third class, you can do that, or you can just follow the narrative on the modules. Okay? Any questions?
Very self-explanatory, thank you.
Well, I thank you very much for being the first ones to attend the class, and share the information with all the employees and co-workers because it's already paid for.
So next week, you're doing the second part of the class, or you're doing this class again?
I'm gonna try to see if we can do a hybrid. Try to start a little bit in like 2-3 pages in and get a little bit further. And then the third class is definitely gonna be part 2.
Okay.
So that'll be the week after. But I do have to do some form of part 1 next week that didn't make out today because different companies, and she told me how people are gonna be sliding through it.
Yeah.
But you'll have the modules sent to you within 48 hours.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.